Hi guys, Jaywalkur here, and I'm in the Changan CS75. The Changan CS75 is a mid-size 5-seater crossover. It's priced about the same as the Ford Territory and the Geely Coolray. How does it compare to the competition? Let's find out. Changan is a new brand here in the Philippines, but they have been producing cars since 1959. They're actually the second biggest car manufacturer in China in terms of sales. So they may be a newcomer here in the Philippines, but they're definitely not amateurs when it comes to producing cars. The CS75 is Changan's answer to the very popular Geely Coolray and Ford Territory. It's priced at 1,229,000 pesos, so it's right in between the Territory and the Coolray in terms of pricing. It is much longer than both the Coolray and the Territory though. Looking at it from the outside, it looks like a 7-seater. It's almost the same length as the Tiggo 8. The styling reminds me of Toyota's recent facelifts. You have these large full air vents underneath the headlights, and you have a pretty massive grille that goes all the way down to the bottom of the bumper. It has LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. The CS75 has 18-inch wheels. The face of the wheel is polished and it has gunmetal inserts. They're wrapped in 225/60 Hankook tires. It has 4-wheel disc brakes and it has 4-wheel independent suspension. So instead of chrome accents, the CS75 has a lot of red accents, which could be a love it or hate it thing. This red accent at the bottom is the most prominent one. I'm not sure if I like it honestly, but if you don't like it, there's always the option of wrapping it in your preferred color. The CS75 has LED taillights. It has dual exhaust tips, and both of them are real. It has a manual tailgate. Because the CS75 is the longest in the segment, it also has the most luggage space. It has 620 liters of space with the second row seats up, which beats both the Territory and the Coolray. With the second row seats down, the cargo space expands to 1,450 liters. In terms of exterior design, I think it looks okay. It's not my favorite design in the segment, but looks are subjective anyway. Anyway, I think whether you like the design or not, you can't accuse it of looking bland and boring. Now, while exterior styling may be subjective, I think most would agree that this has the nicest interior in its class. It looks German, and if I didn't see the badge, I'd think this was a Mercedes. That's how nice it looks. It looks good in photos, it looks good up close, it looks sleek, the materials are top-notch, and the build quality is excellent. The two-tone color scheme also makes the interior pop out a bit more. You have a 12-inch screen here, which is the biggest in its class. So you also have a large digital instrument cluster, and they're right next to each other, so it looks like you have one continuous wide screen here in front of you, similar to a Mercedes. So you have a lot of soft touch materials here. This is soft touch. This is soft touch. This is leather. This is leather. Soft touch. This is aluminum. This is covered in leather. We also have a leather wrapped steering wheel. So over here you have an electronic parking brake without a hold. You have 2 cup holders. This is your knob for selecting drive modes, and it's made of aluminum. You have an armrest with a center split. The seats are leather wrapped and they're both power adjustable. Pretty good lumbar support. And you also have a panoramic sunroof. Okay, I'm at the second row seat now. So here you get two aircon vents, one USB port over here, some storage. You get a center armrest. It's padded. Oh, it's very nicely padded. And this is the best place to appreciate the panoramic sunroof. The Changan CS75 has a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. It produces 176 horsepower and 265 Newton meters of torque. That's just one less horsepower than the Coolray, but it has 10 Newton meters more torque. The CS75 also has a 4-cylinder engine, compared to the Coolray, which has a 3-cylinder. And you can feel the difference a bit at idle. The CS75 feels a bit smoother when idling. The CS75 has a 6-speed automatic. It's not a dual clutch like on the Coolray, but I prefer it over the CVT of the Territory. The CS75 has 176 horsepower under the hood, which is almost the same as the Geely Coolray. It's a much heavier car though. It is not slow, just don't expect it to be a sporty crossover. Acceleration is gradual. It doesn't push you to the back of your seat, but it builds up speed at a pretty good rate. It feels faster than the Territory, partly because it has a more powerful engine, and also it has a 6-speed transmission, unlike the Territory, which has a CVT. It handles like a large crossover. There's a bit of body roll, but I'm pretty sure that the people who are in the market for a crossover don't have performance as a top priority. As a cruiser, the CS75 is excellent. The seats are comfortable, the steering is light, and it's also configurable. You can make the steering lighter or heavier depending on your preference. Even in its lightest setting though, it's not as light as the steering of the Territory. NVH levels are quite good. There's a bit of tire noise penetrating the cabin, but it's nothing that's too bothersome. And there are no creaks and rattles, even if you go over rumble strips. Overall, it sounds like a car that's very well put together. The CS75 has a 360 camera, but the resolution isn't as high as the 360 cameras of the Territory and the Coolray. But it does help when you have to park the car in tight spaces. In addition to the cameras, it also has front and rear parking sensors. Compared to the Ford Territory, the CS75 has a lot more cargo space. I think it also has a nicer interior. If you're into performance, the CS75 has a more powerful engine and a sportier 6-speed automatic. It is also slightly more affordable than the Territory, although the price difference isn't that much. The Territory though has more active safety features like adaptive cruise control, it has automatic emergency braking. It also has a fancier 360 camera system, it has a wireless charging pad, and it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Compared to the Coolray, the CS75 is a lot more spacious. I think it has a nicer interior and it has a much larger screen. The Geely Coolray though is lighter and it feels a bit more sporty. Okay, so which one is the best? There isn't really one answer to that. It will depend on your needs and preferences. If you want a crossover with a lot of cargo space, a luxurious interior, and you don't really care so much about having high resolution 360 cameras, and you don't need adaptive cruise control, then the CS75 might be the one for you. Anyway, after watching this video, the next best thing to do is to drive all three crossovers so you can form your own opinion. If you're interested in test driving the Changan CS75, check out the description below for their contact details.